Alright, what is up everybody? This is Morgnax, and today I figured I would go through a sort of, I don't know, tutorial for how to set up a Linux thing? I have no idea what I'm doing. That's going to be sort of a basic setup, which isn't actually very much. It's going to be an installation of a DAW. I'm going to use Reaper in this example. It's going to be how to set up a VST-bridge so you can run VST plugins in Linux. So we're going to use yabridge because it's the one I know the best. And we're going to do a quick thing on setting up plugins that are kind of meant for Windows, but will also run under Linux using the wine and VST-bridge method. With that out the way, I apologize for the following footage. I don't have multiple cameras, and we're doing this off of a fresh bare metal install. So for this first installation bit, I'm sorry, you're going to have to bear with me. It's going to be recorded with the phone camera. So now that we have shifted over to the screen, we are going to run through an installation. Specifically for this, we're going to be using Garuda Linux because, in my opinion, it is one of the sort of most user-friendly installers. It's quite nice to work with, and you get 1,000,001 packages because it's Arch-based. So we're gonna, we're gonna take this. And install now. And now it's going to install, and I'm going to pause this whilst it does that. So this is what I like about Garuda. It just makes this bit really easy for people. Waiting for an internet connection, that's kind of a problem.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Set up a system? Okay, here we go. So, alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to open up a web browser. I'm going to type in Reaper. Oh, it uses Xerox. That is incredibly based. So we're now going to go to download Reaper. We are going to grab the Linux, download here, and we are just going to let it download. So what we're now going to do is we're going to add a folder called Reaper, and I just do this for the sake of knowing where the hell all my stuff is. And then we're gonna extract archive here, and it's gonna give us this here. And now what we want to do is right click and open terminal here. I know, I said you could do stuff graphically, but the Linux build of Reaper is a bit interesting in the sense that it installs through a shell script, which is fine. All you need to do is click, right click, open terminal here, and then what you have to do is just type // and my terminal already knows the deal, install reaper.sh, and you're going to click enter, and it will tell you you can run this, or you can run it without installing it, which is actually pretty cool. But we want to actually install it, so we're going to click install, and it will ask us for a path to install. If you're like me and you've made your own folder for Reaper, you want to type in /home/Morgnax/ Reaper, and that is the file path you essentially want if you're gonna follow my method. So then, path to install /home/Morgnax/Reaper. Click OK. And then it'll ask you, do you want desktop integration for this install? It'll put it here. You want to answer yes to this, because then you can just hit the main, you can hit your super key, and it will start telling you about Reaper. And then you just click yes to confirm the installation, and it's done. And now we have Reaper. It is Incredibly simple. And what we're gonna do is just pin this, and it's gonna tell us, oh, you know, you don't have a license for this because I haven't imported a license to this because I literally just installed it. You know, you just click still evaluating and move on with your day. So now what we want to do is we want to go and we want to look up yabridge. I'm going to leave a link to the GitHub so you don't actually have to do this. It's this page here, okay? So then what you want to do, this is the VST-bridge part that I was talking about earlier, which is what is going to let us run VST plugins under Linux, which is pretty cool because it means that unless it's using something like iLock, which is a pain in the ass on anything, like if it's just a regular standard installer and then a VST, most plugins will just work. So then we want to scroll down to usage. First of all, yabridge requires a recent-ish version of wine staging. Users of Debian-based things, but you know, whatever. So on Arch Manjaro, yabridge and yabridgectl can be installed from the official repositories using these packages. Now, what the hell do they mean by this? They just mean that you can open up some kind of software manager and type. We can just open, I believe it's one of these. Yeah. So I believe we can just go to here and we can just find wine staging. Go to this. You add this to install. You click install. And then up here where it says apply, you do this. And it will ask you for, the admin password. And now we're installing wine staging. And then all we have to do is get yabridge. We're going to go back down to, here it is, Octopi. I'm not entirely familiar with this. And we're going to look up yabridge. I'm pretty sure one is a dependency for the other. Optional utility. And, whatever. We'll add that because I just prefer working with this either way, but, So now it's like, yep. These two, we're going to install. And off it goes. It's installed. It's that simple. And then setting up and installing this, it's done through the yabridgectl command line utility. So in order to do this, what we are going to do is we are going to open up a terminal and we're going to do so we're going to just do a yabridgectl sync. And it's going to start updating some stuff. It's going to tell us it cannot find a thing. Just click install and it'll be fine. There's technical details behind some of this, but you don't really need to know them. It's fine. Downloading, installed, and once that's gone away, what you then want to do, it'll go to this, and what we now want to do is we now want to open up our file manager, and we want to go to home, and we want to press Control H, opens up hidden files, and we want to go to .wine, drive C, and right here we want to create a folder which is called plugins. And this is where our plugins are going to live. It's very simple. Now the reason I put it in here is because this just makes things slightly easier for this particular stage. So what we now want to do is do yabridgectl add, and we want to do, by the way, you can use that symbol there for /home, your home directory, so /home/more-nakus in this case. And what we want to do is type in .wine/drive/c/plugins. And there you go. Any plugins you now dump into here will be added. So what we are going to do is do exactly that. And we're going to just go into here, and we're going to copy across all these, and then, you know, we're going to go to here, we're going to go to .wine, drive C, plugins, paste. Those have all been pasted. We now hop back over to here, and we just do a sync. It'll tell us it set up 7 new plugins, and, you know, just quickly we'll also run a status to make sure they're all fine. And they're all fine. It'll tell you some stuff like this. Don't worry about that. Doesn't really mean anything. So now what we can do is we can open, I just realized Reaper's over here. We can open Reaper, and it'll scan for VST plugins. And now we have, you know, we can insert empty power drum kit. I do have a registration key for this thing, so it doesn't do this, but, you know. And it is outputting stuff. I just can't, I'm using my interface to record this voiceover, and I can't do both at the same time, so sorry about that. This is essentially how I would set up a Linux system for production purposes. Now, production isn't just audio these days. It's not just audio, it's also video. So, what the fuck do we do for that? You know, do you like to... is there something, turns out, remember that Caden Live thing I clicked? Well, it's right here. Literally right there on the screen. And you can just insert any video clip or audio, whatever you want into this thing and edit away. So that is essentially the basics, the easy setup for Linux, from installation to everything. Because when I started doing the audio side, it was a mess. There were people saying, oh, you have to use this, or oh, you have to use this, and you shouldn't use that. And some people say, no, you should use that. It's a confusing mess. My personal take on this I think is the easiest way to get a good Linux system, a DAW, a video editor, a VST-bridge and Windows plugins working on Linux. This whole setup took like less than an hour, and that's with me recording and filming stuff. Like, if I was doing this just on my own, this whole setup would take about 10 minutes.